Dr. Andrew Holness just had one of the biggest diaspora meetings ever. And at this very moment, I am so proud to be a Labourite. Honestly, more so, I am so proud to be on the side that want to see the best for Jamaica, that want to see Jamaica prosper in every single way possible. A side that has vision for the country, lest we perish, just like what the anthem says. With that being said, rumble show man rumble. Third term loading, in fact fourth term, because we're doing a good job, a very good job. Especially our great leader who visited the diaspora to have a well thoughtful, heartfelt and sincere forum. Jamaica, unlike the PNP, especially Mark Golding, when he visits, it is this doom and gloom for Jamaica. It is to bring down our country. It is to spill misinformation, false information on our country. It is to bring negativity, corruption, violence without chance of things getting better in Jamaica. Hence painting Jamaica as the worst country to live in. Thus make it bad for interested investors. Jamaicans who have made it abroad and were thinking of giving back to our country. Senior citizens who heart and soul are still tied to Jamaica and want to return home to live out the rest of their lives. Mark Golding, without one shred of evidence also of conviction, painted the Prime Minister as the most corrupt in Jamaica. To the diaspora, but the doctor did not mention his name once in his presentation, and if I missed it, I assure you it is nothing negative. There's no negative connotation. Instead, the Prime Minister used these precious hours to talk about our beautiful country, our resilience through challenges, shocks like COVID pandemic and the supply chain being hindered. He talked about the government positive achievement in terms of security. We are seeing a well-needed reduction in crime and violence. He talks about Jamaica's unprecedented economic turnaround through prudent fiscal discipline and frugal and effective micromanagement of our country's economy. But moreover, the Prime Minister always gives us practical, achievable, believable vision for our country. Like our anthem says, give us vision lest we perish, as we sing our anthem, which is a prayer to God above. God in the form of this trying, humble beginning, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has answered our prayer, who is a great man, and his attributes and the level of professionalism speak volume of how he was raised. And wellness, Jamaicans love and appreciate all that you are doing for our country. May God continue to bless you with great ideas to bring our country forward always. Rumble show man rumble. These are some highlights from his forum in diaspora. And remember to comment, leave a like, share, repost. God bless.
A robust economy requires safety and security. Indeed, you can't grow your economy if there is insecurity. And that has been a challenge for Jamaica for the last 4 decades, if not more. But certainly within the last 3 decades, crime and violence, insecurity has been a challenge to our economy. We could be growing at 5% or more were it not for the impact of the security issues that we face. We have achieved today a remarkable reduction in crime as indexed by the murder rate. We are 35% fewer murders today than today last year. And there are those who will say, I still don't feel safe. And that might be the case. There is always a lag when it comes to these matters of security. Lap-up surveys are always a paradox. When you ask people, have you ever been a victim of crime? Have you seen crime in your community? The percentage is usually a very high no. But then when you ask, what's your greatest concern? Crime. And that's because fear imagined is as real as fear experienced. And so if every day you're fed a diet of fear, whether or not you experience it or imagining it, it is going to have that impact on your outlook and your perception. And so as the administration, we cannot give in to the proclivity and tendency to accentuate the negatives only. Jamaica's economic performance and stability by the unemployment rate, the inflation rate, the debt to GDP ratio, or net international reserves, by every critical metric, our economy undeniably demonstrates economic stability and resilience. And I want you to cement those two words in your consciousness: stability and resilience. There is a third word that we need to cement in our consciousness as we gather here to celebrate manufacturing and production in Jamaica. And that third word, growth. Our mission is clear. We must shift gears towards sustained growth. For Jamaica to realize its fullest potential, our growth rate must accelerate from 1 to 2% towards a more ambitious target of 4 to 5%. Central to achieving this are initiatives which this government has launched, and we call them Aspire. That is our comprehensive growth strategy. Access and inclusivity form the bedrock of Aspire. Economic growth, for it to be meaningful, must include every Jamaican. So I want to assure those who are in the audience and those who may be listening that whatever this government does as it relates to achieving growth, it will not be growth for some or a trickle down of the benefits of growth. This government will be instrumental, deliberate, ensuring that the economy grows, that sectors and industries grow, but more importantly, that your household, of which you are the finance minister, the education minister, the transportation minister, your household, that your household also grows. That is a commitment that the government gives as we pursue growth, inclusivity, and equity. A sign of inclusive growth, of an economy that is on this track of inclusivity, is that the economy generates employment. And we can all be proud as Jamaicans that we have an economy where the unemployment rate is at 3.5%, the lowest in the history of Jamaica, the lowest. I know the retort is going to be, well, most of it is low-paying jobs. One is infinitely greater than zero. And before you get to the top, you must put your foot on the first rung, and then rungs after that. I don't want anyone to tell me about low-paying job when under their stewardship, unemployment was double-digit, and we were not having our feet firmly placed on the rung of employment. Yes, we acknowledge the pay is not what we would want, but you're not going to wish high-paying jobs. Don't materialize by a wish. It comes by efforts like these. And the conversation that I have to keep having with the Jamaican people is that we have to be practical about our development. We have to be realistic. And the old notions, many of which are false and proven to be so, cannot help us. So yes, all of us want better pay and better salaries, but nobody wants to discuss productivity. There's just this disconnection between better pay and better salary and better jobs and the notion of producing more. Let me be clear, better pay and better salary without productivity equals inflation. So for the demographic that is below 40, 30s and 20s, who have grown accustomed to stability, mild movement in prices, stable dollar, stable interest rate, who may take for granted stability, I wish to remind you that you cannot get to growth without stability.